Hi, I'm Anthony from City Backyard Veggies. I'm over at my kohlrabi patch that I planted out 2 weeks ago to replace the older crop that I had in this spot. At this stage, they're ready for their first nitrogen fertilizer liquid feed. So I'm going to mix up a watering can worth and give them a good soak. In about 6 weeks time, these will be ready to be harvested. But today's video, I'm going to go through and show you how I harvested my previous crop, what to look out for, and how I planned out my new patch of kohlrabi. So this afternoon I'm over at my kohlrabi patch. This is the first planting that I did, and I planted them out in early March. So they've been in the ground for about 2.5 months now, and they're ready to harvest. There's probably 30 plants here all up. They've grown quite well in the warm autumn weather. So I'm going to come through and start harvesting some of these, and I will be eventually replanting the next round of kohlrabi in this spot. So this is my kohlrabi patch. The variety I grow is the green variety. It's called Cindy, and it's actually a tennis ball sized kohlrabi. As you can see there, it's just the size of my arm, size of my palm. But it's actually really nice to eat. It's quite crispy. Most of these get eaten fresh at my house. We actually don't cook with them, but and the kids use them a lot as a treat or an afternoon snack. So what we do is just peel the skin off and just eat it whole. But all I'm looking at doing here is actually removing the whole crop. Most of them are almost larger than a baseball, I would argue, and so they're ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come and harvest this lot, and then just do a bit of a prep on the soil, add a few amendments, and then plant my next round of seedlings in the same spot. So I'm just going to come through now and just give them a bit of a harvest. I'm just going to go and pick a few of them at the moment, but this one here looks like a good sized one. So there you go. That's the first one for the season. What I typically do is I like to get rid of the soil, and as you can see, that root ball, it's actually even got the old still got the old potting mix and the vermiculite that I tend to put around on each of my seedlings. So what I do is I always cut off the base, and then the leaves, I don't generally keep the leaves. These will get fed to the chickens, but it's just a matter of just removing all the leaves. And then you've got your kohlrabi that's ready to go. You can be eaten right now or take it inside and store it in the fridge. So I'm going to go through and harvest the rest. So I just finished off the harvest, and I've got myself 16 kohlrabis here. They look absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with those. There are a few smaller ones, but I've decided to harvest them anyway, just to make to get the space cleared. But besides that, they actually look really nice. They're like a perfect picture kind of thing. They're I find them very easy to deal with too, especially in the warmer autumn months. And they seem to have very little problems with slugs. Happy to really grow them, and they don't take as much space as other brassicas, so they're kind of a very easy crop to grow. Just give them a bit of a feed on occasions, and they do fine. Just make sure you just keep them watered. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to taste test one. I'm going to cut one up now and just show everyone what they look like on the inside. But definitely kohlrabi is definitely something you should look at growing in your garden. I will plant these from now till early September, and then I'll start moving into my summer crops then. But definitely, if you have the space, put them in. Just before I finish off with my kohlrabis, I'm just going to crack one of these ones quickly open for a quick snack. Just wanted to show everyone what it looks like on the inside. It's actually quite a nice fleshed. You can see that it's actually quite a nice, clean, almost looks like an apple, you could say. So what I tend to do now is I'll just probably cut a wedge off. So I just cut a little wedge. See that there? You can eat the skin, but I tend to prefer to peel the skin off. and the skins will all go to the chickens and stuff. They'll actually demolish these. Just clear the skin and then just a little bite. That's all it needs. It's actually quite sweet, quite crunchy, and very delicate. It's not fibrous, it's not woody. So now this is a great afternoon snack for me, and that's the way we eat most of these. So really, kohlrabi is one of those less known vegetables that I think we should all be growing in our backyard. So I'm gonna go plant some more this afternoon hopefully, but definitely gonna finish off the rest of this for lunch. So this afternoon I'm going to go plant out my new round of kohlrabi seedlings in the bed that I had my previous kohlrabis that I pulled out earlier in the week. What I've done is I've gone through and dug over the patch, and I've gone and laid a bit of cow manure just to add some organic matter to the soil, and on top of that I've gone and added chicken manure pellets, a bit of potash, just a little bit of dolomite lime, and I've mixed it all in and flattened out the plot. So at this moment, I'm just about to start planning out how I'm going to plant out these seedlings, and looking at planting most of this area with kohlrabi. So these are my kohlrabi seedlings. I've raised these for about 3 weeks now. The leaves are just starting to yellow, so they're due to be planted out. They're quite a nice looking seedling at the moment. They've got perfect root ball, so I'm just going to go through now, try to see if I can at least plant out at least 20 of these seedlings in the plot that I've dug over, and I'll try to find spaces for the rest of them. So I find that with kohlrabi, unlike other brassicas, they actually can grow well in closer plant spacings. So what I tend to do is I tend to plant my kohlrabis out in 20 centimeter spacings in each direction. So in this bed, I'm going to have 4 rows and 20 centimeters apart, and I'm just going to progressively work up the plot. So what I'm essentially doing is just taking out some of my seedlings, using the back of my implement. I dig out a bit of a depression, and I plant the seedlings essentially straight into that hole, cover it up, and just be quite firm with the soil around it, and that's planted out. The depression around the seedling will help me with the watering when I come through later on to capture the water around the plant. But that's essentially it. So I'm just going to go through now and just work through the rest of the bed and have it all planted out. I just wanted to show you just a couple of things when you're planting out your kohlrabi. When you are putting them into the hole to plant them out, because the bulb actually just forms at the bottom of the base of the plant, you don't want to plant these seedlings too deeply. So when you do plant them, just make sure that you keep the bottom of the plant still above the soil. Just a little trick that I've learnt from planting my kohlrabi. You don't want to be covering that little grow tip there. That's where the actual bulb starts. So unlike other brassicas, try not to plant your kohlrabis too deeply. So I just finished planting out the kohlrabi. I've got 24 plants here in total. Going to give them a water, and I'm expecting that they will be ready for harvest in about 8 weeks. So yeah, you can get a lot of plants in a small area. This is probably 80 centimeters wide and probably about 1.5 meters long. I will give them a intermediate liquid feed, say in about 4 weeks time. High nitrogen fertilizer liquid feed, and that will just help them along and just keep them well watered for the next 8 weeks during their growing stages, and they'll be ready to harvest in no time.